Look out. Here come former SportsCenter anchor Bob Stevens, esteemed basketball coach Rich Basirico, and Hall of Fame sports writer Curry Kirkpatrick. And someone's going under the bus.
Well, where do we start throwing people under the bus? We got a lot going on. Coach is back. Rich Basirico, after his trip to Arizona. You saw a little hoops, didn't you, and a little football?
I did. I saw Gonzaga play Arizona State, which was, Gonzaga was a much better team, but Arizona State, I have to throw the first person under the bus, if that's all right with you guys.
Oh.
Bobby Hurley. All he did the whole game was bark at the officials, the whole game. I don't think he coached the kids up. He was just barking at he got a technical foul. One of his players got a technical foul, and his players can't shoot foul shots. It was atrocious. They were shooting under 50% as a team. Major college basketball, and you can't make a free throw. Come on now. But they made a couple runs at Gonzaga, but Gonzaga is just too good for them. Way too good. Mark Few is a terrific coach, but I feel for Bobby because I don't think he makes it through this. He'll make it through the season, but I think he'll be gone at the end of the year. They just can't.
That's what we said.
He can't generate enough offense and defensively. I mean, even today they were losing to Georgia State on their home court by 14 or with 11 minutes to go. Now they did come back and win. They went on a 21 run, but I've always respected Bobby because I thought he was a terrific player himself. But man, oh man, does he bark at the officials? I mean, he doesn't stop. It's the whole game. Stands up, never sits down, and he's just yapping at the officials. And I don't even know if he says anything to the players during a timeout because he goes out on the floor and starts yelling at the officials again. So
Rich, I guess
it is what it is.
What did he get his tea for? Coming out on the floor or just yelling too much?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Curry wanted to know what did he get his technical for?
There was a play where one of his players got hammered, going to the basket, and there was the guy actually went up for a dunk, and the guy blocked his shot, and there was no call. And it looked, from where I was sitting, it did look like a foul, but he didn't stop. He did not. I thought he was going to run on the floor and, attack the official the way he looked and so forth.
That's how you get a D, yeah.
Yeah,
Rich, I remember
so I don't know. His kids play hard for him. I know the reputation for him. They like to play for him. They like him, but I don't think they have enough money at Arizona State, which is kind of crazy for their basketball program, to go out and get the players to play at the level that he needs his team to play at in the conference they play in. Because the teams he's up against, he just doesn't have he has good players. He doesn't have the great players.
Curry.
So.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
I can.
Rich, can you hear me?
I can't hear him.
Rich can't hear you. So we'll have to fix that during the next break. But
well, I was gonna tell Rich. I remember the Gonzaga player, the transfer from Grand Canyon, because we used to kid him about his name. His name is Grant Foster. And remember, I used to call him Foster Grant because his sunglasses. He's a really terrific, yeah. And he's with Gonzaga. He's transferred.
Bobby, you got to tell me what he's saying now.
Yeah. He's talking about Grant Foster, your favorite set of sunglasses, and also a basketball player.
Gonzaga player.
He's at Gonzaga now. All right.
I'll follow Rich with the continuing college basketball. Speaking of Bobby Hurley, how about his brother Dan? Of course, coaches Connecticut. Won 2 national championships. Connecticut is really good again. They were number 3. They played the game of the week, I thought, against Brigham Young. They brought Brigham Young into Boston Garden to play Connecticut. These regional games with all these big name teams are really great preseason. That the TV has scheduled them. We have tonight Kentucky playing Michigan State.
Yeah, I got that going over my shoulder with.
And then Duke plays Kansas. I don't give Kansas a shot tonight because their great freshman Peterson is hurt. But anyway,
wait a minute. Bill Self's one of the greatest coaches of all time, and this game doesn't matter, but it sort of matters. It's national TV.
Well, yeah, I think Duke will blow them out. They're just too much. They're too much better. But as far as the Connecticut, speaking of the Connecticut, get back to Connecticut Brigham Young game. Connecticut was just blowing out. I mean, Brigham Young just didn't look ready for the moment, and Connecticut was blowing them out. I mean, they were up by they really whipped them in the first half. They up by 20 with 15 minutes left, and that's after Connecticut center Reed and their forward Caravan, who's been there about 7 years, and then they have a new point guard this year named Silas Demery, who's a transfer from Georgia, who's really good. And so they went way ahead, and the heralded AJ DeBonsa, the heralded #1 recruit, who's supposed to be your #1 draft choice for Brigham Young, he looked alternately confounded and disinterested in the first half. He scored 4 points, and he just didn't look like he was ready. And then all of a sudden, in the second half, DeBonsa just exploded. I mean, he just started driving to the basket, making these left-handed dunks. He made turnarounds. He just was unreal. He made one move in the lane where his back was to the basket, and he faked left, and he went right, spin around, and he made a hook shot from about 15 feet. And
I wish I could read lips.
Brigham Young came all the way back to trail by 2, 86-84, with the ball and possession, and they had a chance to win the game. But I got to throw under the bus their point guard, Robert Wright, who was a terrific player, actually a transfer from Baylor.
Yeah.
He tried to split the double team with about 10 seconds left against Connecticut in the about 15 feet from the basket, and he lost his dribble and turned the ball over, and UConn survived to win by 2. But so I'll throw Wright under the bus, but his teammate DeBonsa had 21 in the second half, and just he's slither. He's
as good as advertised.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's kind of a combination of Cameron Boozer, the Duke freshman, and the Carolina freshman Caleb Wilson. I don't think he's as strong as Boozer, but he's not as quick as Wilson. But he's kind of a combo of the two. He's really the real deal, though.
All right.
Sorry, Rich can't hear any of this.
Yeah, well, we don't want Rich to miss any more of this wisdom. I've got a college basketball story to ask both of you about. We're going to take a quick break. While we're in this break, be thinking about coaches who intimidated officials, the ones you guys know who could really intimidate an official. We'll get the answer to that. We'll have a whole lot more talking college football, NFL, all that stuff. Plenty of people to go under the bus right after this for Hudson's, our sponsor, Hudson's on the Dock Seafood Restaurant on Hilton Head Island. All right, we are back. Any better, Rich? Can you hear us?
Well, I can hear you, Bob. How about Curry? Curry.
Okay. I don't know
what's the deal. I'm doing the same.
Can Curry hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah.
I don't understand why
I can see him talking, but I can't hear a word he's saying.
Worldwide, is there something to do in this studio you can do?
Worldwide West doing the production tonight. We're not going to throw him under the bus yet, but there might still be room for him before the show's over if he struggles with this situation. Hey, wow! So you can at least both. Everybody else can hear you. Rich, favorite coach who could intimidate an official, yourself not included.
Bobby Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, Bobby Knight was, man. He never gave up on officials. And you know who else? But he didn't get up and down. But Mike Krzyzewski he sat there on the bench thinking that everybody's thinking, well, he's cool and calm, but those officials are going by and he's as I say, barking. He's barking at those officials all the time. I mean, there's a bunch of guys out there. Of course, Danny Hurley, Bobby's brother, has got to be the top of the list of present coaches right now. I mean, he might be number one. Curry might disagree with that, but Danny Hurley is right up there. I mean, he is on the floor. I mean, that's what would get, as an opposing coach, that would I'd be upset about, the way he gets on the floor. Like, come on now. I mean, that shouldn't happen. And officials should not let him do what he does. I mean, I know he's won 2 national championships in a row, but they can't let him do what he does. But Knight, I thought Knight was over the top, and Curry could tell us many stories about Bobby Knight.
Story I want to hear. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Knight once threw a chair across the court and got teed up and got thrown out of the game. But yeah, he was as intimidating as anybody. I think a funny intimidator was Bob. Now I can't think of his name. Huggy Bear, Bob Huggins at West Virginia. And
That's a good one.
Just with his size and screaming all the time, he was pretty intimidating. But I'll go back to what Rich was saying. The Carolina people always thought that Krzyzewski intimidated officials just with his presence and his reputation. And he used to. I mean, he was as bad a 4-letter guy as anybody in the country. And he Krzyzewski. And of course, the Duke people always thought that Dean Smith did the same thing before he retired. That he was very, very cool about it, but he was back there barking at him, and with his reputation and just kind of cool, sat there cool sometimes, but he was yelling at the officials, and I think they were all afraid of Dean and afraid of Coach K, and of course they were really intimidated by Knight. I think Rich is right on that.
All right. The college basketball talk has now gone on for more than 12 minutes, and really nobody's playing. Nothing's happened. Let's talk college football instead. Let's segue to that. Tonight is the latest announcement of the teams that might be in the playoffs. They've still got 3 more weeks to go after that. I got to imagine that it's still going to be Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, 1, 2, 3. Georgia or Texas Tech, number 4. I don't know.
But talking about throwing people under the bus.
Yeah.
How about South Carolina being up 30-3 against Texas A&M? How do you score 30 points and a half against at Texas A&M, the 3rd best team in the country, can't score in the second half and let them come back and score 28 points? Yeah. That's totally unacceptable. I don't know how you do that. The South Carolina coach came out and said he wanted to puke. That's what his comments were when Texas A&M was coming back on him. He wanted to puke.
That's your boy.
Hey, bud, stop. Get your players to stop the run. You got to stop the run somehow, some way. Do something. Maybe you should have run on the field like Danny Hurley does.
Yeah, there you
go. That's isn't it one of the largest comebacks in college football in the last 20 years?
In A&M history, four touchdowns in the second half to win by 31-30. But I've got a candidate in that game to throw under, and it's none of the players. Yeah. It's the unnamed Texas State Trooper.
Yeah,
who in the tunnel after South Carolina's Nick Harbor made that great 80-yard run in the first half. He ran up the tunnel with a teammate, and that state trooper came back down the tunnel and deliberately bumped into Harbor's shoulder, and he wedged himself between the players. And then he turned around and he was like scolding the 2 players. He was yelling at him. And I thought Harbor was going to go back after him, but his teammate kind of held him back. Yeah. And the Texas, whoever was in charge, his commandant quickly removed him from the tunnel and threw him out of the game. Yes. So he had to go home and watch the comeback, the second half comeback on TV.
Officer goes under the bus.
The state trooper, yeah. But I got
under there by by the people there. Yeah.
Yeah. John, I don't know if you saw this, but A&M's former Heisman Trophy winner, Johnny Manziel, chimed in on his what he thought of the incident. We all wanted to hear that, of course. Of course, you might remember Manziel used to be known as Johnny Football before he became Johnny Poor Drunk. But he was apparently initially he supported the trooper. He said, our guys were frustrated. Around here, we protect our house. We paid enough money for this house. So he gave him a little something. He said, get out of my tunnel, boy. Get back on the field. Well, Lance, Johnny Football, come on. Then at the end, by the end of the podcast, he was complimenting Harbor, the South Carolina kid. He said he understood Harbor turning around to reply to the trooper. Manziel, he said, if that was me, I'd have gotten in a trooper's face. So Johnny Football, figure it out. Give us one side or the other.
So we can throw him under the bus for that.
Yeah.
Well, for sure.
Well, by the way, speaking of coaches, Beamer, former Boy Wonder, in the press conference afterward, like Rich was saying, he said he could have puked. He also said, we won this game last year by 24 points, and we had a lot of our guys played in that game, so we weren't surprised to be up 30-3 at half. He said this after the game, so I guess he was surprised. He didn't say if he was surprised to get beat 31-30. He said, but he did have to address rumors that he might be out of a job, and then they asked him about
who's he talking about, Bob?
Oh, he's talking about Shane
Beamer. Your boy Beamer. He also said that there are rumors about his quarterback Sellers playing somewhere else last year, and Beamer said this was absolute horse garbage.
Yeah.
So that's a new word from the coaches' gallery of coach speak. Horse garbage.
Horse garbage, indeed. Let's talk about guys who have lost jobs. James Franklin's been thrown out under the bus by a whole lot of people.
Right.
He lands at Virginia Tech, which sounds like an odd spot for a guy like him, but it actually, everybody seems to think it's perfect because of his recruiting in Virginia and the Middle Atlantic states in the past. There were like 8 Virginia players playing at Penn State, and
he used to coach at Maryland. He used to coach at Maryland also.
Yeah, and at Towson and places like that as an assistant. And so he, but it looks odd to me as just a general observer. But it looks like apparently it's just the right place. Curiously, of course, he replaces his old defensive coordinator who took the job. A couple of years ago and is gone in favor of Franklin.
But don't you think if he was offered like Florida or LSU, he would have taken it? I just don't think any other major schools made an offer to him. I mean,
the one other good thing about Franklin going to Virginia Tech, there is nobody in the ACC in the top 10, so he can't lose to another top 10 team for a while.
And there you go. How perfect is that? You're exactly right. I mean, he was 4-24 or 5-21 against top 10 teams.
Something like that.
So if you're looking for a coach, I mean, I know he's had success. I know he recruits well. He's supposed to be a great guy. But if your track record is 4-21 against top 10 teams, do you think that's going to change when he comes to Virginia Tech? I mean, the administration thinks, okay, that's his track record. Usually you go by what guys have done in the past. And what he's done in the past is not very good in terms of beating the best teams on his schedule. So,
but there are no better teams on his schedule. That was the point I was making.
I know. That's what it's perfect.
Yeah, Clemson maybe. The big question: do we throw Lane Kiffin under the bus? Do we throw LSU under the bus? Do we throw Florida under the bus? Do we throw Ole Miss under the bus for telling Kiffin, you got to decide before you go on the field for the Egg Bowl?
Well, I heard on the radio today, they interviewed him. He said that's not true.
Yeah,
he's
Kiffin
not
denies that. Kiffin denies that.
Coaches lie.
But I wouldn't be surprised.
I thought they fly his family to LSU in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Curry. I think was going to talk about that. They flew Kiffin's family. Florida came and got him one day, and then LSU came and got him the next day and flew him in and wined and dined him. Kiffin apparently didn't go on either one
Didn't
of
go
those
on
trips.
either trip. Well, he's
Okay.
been to both places enough,
Yeah.
I think, I wouldn't be surprised if Mississippi did give this ultimatum because, and I wouldn't blame them really.
No.
They want to know what he's going to do.
Right.
But I would think they've already made their money offer to Kiffin. And, they say they're going to do a Signetti like contract for him, which means millions and millions of dollars. So, I think he already knows his offer from Mississippi. So,
He probably does.
yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
going to stay. I think he's going to stay there. But I don't know. LSU is such a political mess.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
such and Florida, I think he can recruit just as well at Mississippi as at Florida now. I don't know.
Rich, do you think he stays or you think he goes?
Man, that's a great question.
Or
That
he's saying
really
he
is.
stays.
He on the radio show today, he's talked about how much he loved Ole Miss and the kids were great and his family loves it there. So I don't know if he's just saying that. Obviously money talks, and he says it doesn't have to come down to money, but it does. And I think LSU and Florida could probably pay him more than Mississippi can. But I agree with Curry. I do think he's enjoying what he's doing at Mississippi, and hey, he's winning there. So why do you think he can win a national championship at Ole Miss just as much as he can win at Florida or LSU? So
I think I've become to think that that's possible. I didn't think so
yeah.
before, but that might indeed be possible. Anybody else in college football we want to throw under the bus before we take one last break, and then we'll come back and talk about the NFL and the NBA. Anybody else?
I do. But I wish Rich, being a Notre Dame guy, could hear this. But
I'll relay that. I'll give him the short form.
Well, okay. The short form, Notre Dame and Pitt played Saturday, and it was a big Pitt moment. It was college game day was there. They were retiring Aaron Donald's number. Tony Dorsett was running around all the place. I mean, this was a big moment for Pitt. And the Pittsburgh coach, Pat Narduzzi, who's a total jerk, had a presser early in the week where he said, this Notre Dame game doesn't matter at all.
Right.
And, because it's not an ACC game, it's not a league game.
Right.
So a reporter brought up the fact that the last two Notre Dame Pitt games were total boat race, 45-3 and 58-7.
Yeah.
For a total of 103-10. So Narduzzi said, I'm glad you brought that up. I'd gladly get beat 100-3 or 110-10 because they can put 100 on us as long as we win the next two games. Well, this anti-competitive stuff didn't sit too well with the Pittsburgh program, nor with ESPN, I'm sure, who were billing this game up. And so Narduzzi said later in a press conference, he said, well, I don't like the pressure. I just wanted to take stress off my team. So after the beatdown, after the 37-15 beatdown, they go to do the perfunctory handshake at midfield. And Marcus Freeman barely stops as he walks by Narduzzi, who tried to bring him in to talk to him. Maybe Narduzzi was going to explain why he took a last second timeout so Pitt could score a meaningless touchdown against Notre Dame third stringers. But Freeman smirked and says, I wanted to go celebrate. I don't care about any other program. I don't have time for him. So I got it. I mean, Narduzzi, it was ridiculous saying the game didn't mean anything. Come on.
So Narduzzi goes under the bus. We're gonna throw ourselves under the bus here for this break because Rich can't hear. We'll throw him under the bus at some point too. We still got the NFL to talk about. And NBA. I'm gonna throw Americans under the bus in the NBA. When we come back, where it's under the bus, it's brought to you by Hudson's on the Docks. Welcome back to Under the Bus. Bob Stevens along with Curry Kirkpatrick and Rich Basirico. Rich cannot hear Curry, just if you're following along with us.
This
Rich,
happened. This happened
I
a
don't
couple of
understand
weeks
that, but
ago.
go ahead.
This happened a couple of weeks ago, but they fixed it in the
I still
studio.
can't hear him.
Okay, well, he still can't hear you. So we're gonna, by government decree, the Congress, the Senate, and the House have both voted that we continue the show anyway, and we do not stop. It was 427-1 in the House and unanimous consent.
Yeah, who was that? Who was that one voter that voted no?
He's from Louisiana, I think.
Oh, let's
He's
see.
coaching LSU.
Yeah.
That could be what's going on there. What are we thinking about the NFL? Who's in? Who's out?
How about Sanders with the Cleveland Browns?
Oh,
what do you think? What do you think about his performance?
Oh,
4 for 16 for 47 yards.
He plays. He does not play well, and while he is playing, his house is being robbed.
Right? How about that? Isn't that crazy? That's sad. That's sad. I know it's his first game, and of course, maybe he wasn't mentally ready to get in the game because obviously he didn't think he was going to play. But his performance was terrible. It was awful.
We learned.
It really was. You look at a lot of
beginning.
quarterbacks this past Sunday. Sam Darnold being one, threw 4 interceptions. Right? I mean, J.J. McCarthy was 16 for 32. So all these guys people are counting on to be these great quarterbacks just aren't getting the job done. Week from week.
So bad he
some
got
weeks they're good, and some weeks not very good.
Curry, go ahead.
Well, Rich's boy Fields played so bad he got benched for the next week, so he's gone.
Hey, speaking of Rich's boy Fields, we haven't had Rich on since he lost his favorite Giants coach, Brian Daboll.
Well, I was gonna say something about that. So in Mike Kafka's the replacement interim coach. So
is Curry dogging the Giants?
Yes,
so his first series, he has to play without Abdul Carter, the third pick, the big time third pick in the draft. He's a big time linebacker, because Carter fell asleep at the facility and missed the walkthrough. So Kafka had to punish him. Apparently, Carter. This was a trend for being late for meetings when under Brian Daboll, but Kafka decided this was a punishment needed, so he didn't let Carter play the first series.
Yeah.
So in the end, of course, the Giants lost their 5th straight. Carter woke up to make 1 tackle and 45 snaps. So. And he says that he put on X, he texts on X, I was not asleep. I actually was doing recovery. He posted on X. He said when the hate don't work, they start telling lies.
Okay.
So he wasn't sleeping, and Jamar Chase wasn't spitting.
Well, we're going to get to Jamar Chase spitting in just a minute, but Rich, what Curry's rant was about your boy Carter, the defensive lineman who slept through the walkthrough went.
Because he's denying that now. He's denying that's not what happened. Right. But how about this, Bob? They suspend him for 1 set of downs. Like what's the being to make it sound like we had this big suspension? The same thing happened last night with the Dallas Cowboys. Landon Pickens. You suspend him for 3 downs. Well, how different? What's so bad about that? So they sat out for 3 downs, right? Yeah. I don't necessarily. That's the consequences are so great that we have to write a story about it. And whatever he said about the Giants is probably true, because he should have been fired. I mean, they had 5 games leading. They were leading into the 4th quarter. One game they had 25 seconds to go against Cowboys. They lost 33 seconds ago against Denver. They lost. Then what was it? 2 weeks ago, they had a lead by 10 points with 5 minutes ago. They lost. 5 games when they had the lead in the 4th quarter, they lost. Well, someone's got to take the axe for that. And that's the head coach.
Yep. Curry, what about Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey? Who goes under the bus for this, or do we throw them both under?
Well, I think Chase. You can't spit. You can't spit at a person, They only gave him one game, which I think is a mistake. Of course, they had a precedent. The first game of the season when the Philly guy, Jalen Carter, spit it at Dak Prescott, and of course, they didn't let him play that game. He got thrown out of the game, and that was his only game suspension. So one game was the precedent. I think this is pretty bad. That I think he deserved more than that. But Chase
Rich,
apparently, and then for Chase to lie about it after the game.
You spit on somebody.
Wait a minute, Rich. Curry's finishing. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Well, and they didn't put a suspension down until after Chase had lied about the whole thing. In the locker room, and TV shows the clearly spitting. So now he's going to what's the word? Protest his suspension. How can he do that after he's on tape spitting? It's just ridiculous.
We've seen that before, appealing a suspension. Usually it's baseball players, not football players. But Rich, your thoughts?
Well, is he actually appealing it? The game suspension?
Yeah.
You're kidding. He thinks it's all right to spit at somebody.
Yeah. Well, just that he did. He says he didn't. And
okay. Well, in any profession, if you spit on your coworker, you'd be out of a job. I mean, if you say something to a coworker that's off color, you lose your job. So spitting at somebody, I think in any profession, you would lose your job.
Well, and it's on
one
tape.
Game suspension.
The tape shows.
I think it should be more than that. I really do.
Well,
the tape. That's my point. The tape shows he lied, so he could get more than a game because the integrity. I mean, his integrity now is up for question. Nobody will ever believe him on anything, and they should tell him that. They should bring Chase in. The commissioner should bring Chase in and explain to him what's happened here. That his integrity. I mean, he's got to come out and admit what he did. That's the only thing about it.
Another guy who might deserve to go under the bus only for what he was thinking 6 months ago, not how he has played, is Myles Garrett of the Browns, who decided to take the money rather than go someplace else where he could win, stayed with the Browns. I believe in this team, all that. The team has gone, under the bus.
Right.
And south. And Garrett, meanwhile, has 15 sacks in 10 games and is probably, I mean, he said when he did not intend to have his career be Cleveland to Canton, but it looks like that's what's happening now is he's going to go Cleveland to Canton.
It's too bad, Bob. He can't play against the Browns because he'd have about 10 more sacks. He'd have about 10 more sacks in the next 2 games.
If he could play against the Browns, yes, he probably would be doing that.
Can I say one thing about the Shedeur Sanders thing? And you can ask Rich this because Stefanski, the coach, after the game, we learned that he gave Sanders not one single prep in practice, not one single snap. So the line didn't know his voice, he didn't know his cadence, didn't know anything about him when he comes in. How isn't that malpractice? I mean, that's coaching malpractice that he doesn't prepare his backup to play in a real NFL game. It's ridiculous.
Rich, is it coaching malpractice that Stefanski admitted afterwards that Shedeur Sanders had not had a single snap in practice during the week?
Well, that's bad. I mean, come on, he's your backup quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's your backup quarterback. You're always one play away from going out. How can he not give him any reps? That's ridiculous. That should never happen, especially at that level. At that level, I mean, even in high school level, you give even your backups reps. For sure, they're doing the same drills, running the same plays, and your backup quarterback doesn't get any reps. That's bad.
Stefanski under the bus. We'll just
sure.
There's this nasty rumor going around. Has been going around for weeks that there are some people in the Browns organization that want Sanders to fail. Among them, Stefanski, that don't want him to succeed, and Stefanski didn't want to draft him, and and so I mean, this looked like they were some sabotage.
Only the soap opera that would be the Cleveland Browns, for sure. All right, I got one last guy to throw under the bus. I'm throwing the NBA geniuses under the bus for their all-star creation. You know, they're making 3 teams this year. There'll be an Eastern Conference all-star team, a Western Conference all-star team, and a rest of the world all-star team. Well, their rest of the world has got Giannis and Jokic and Wembanyama and SGA and Doncic. I got a feeling they're going to romp, huh?
Well, they should make it just one U.S. team. They should make it one U.S. team against the world. What's this 3-team deal? This one, and the teams are going to play only 1 quarter, right?
Right.
You're going to play 1 quarter and then play another team 1 quarter. It's so stupid. They should just have the world against the U.S. 1 game, 2 halves, and settle it that way. I don't know who came up with this other stuff.
Rich, your thoughts?
Well, I think that's a terrible idea. I really do. 3 different teams. I mean, it becomes a circus. And the reason it becomes a circus, the players don't come to play. And they just play 0 defense, absolutely 0. And the games are out of control. It's just like a major pickup game. I don't really like the All-Star games, to be honest. I know the fans who enjoy the NBA like it, but you know they don't play defense during the regular season. Of course, they go to the All-Star game. It's even twice as bad, or 3 times as bad, 5 times as bad. But to do what they're doing to try to create interest is bad. I don't like it. I will definitely not watch that.
You brought up something that I wanted to ask you, and I'll ask Curry as well. You're right. There's no defense anymore in the NBA. I remember when I was at ESPN in the late 90s, rolling over into the 2000s, that the problem was offense. You couldn't get anybody up over 100 points. They were, obviously they've changed the rules a little bit on zoning and man-to-man and all that stuff, all that technical coaching jumbo stuff. But anyway, how come nobody plays defense?
That's a great question, Bob. I don't know. They just don't until the playoffs. In the playoffs, they obviously step it up and get after it, but they play no defense. It's sad. It really is sad. That's part of the game, right? They always say defense wins championships. It's part of the game, and they don't play it. So I don't.
Curry?
Again, we've talked about not watching it during the regular season. We don't.
Yeah. Curry, thoughts on no defense in the NBA?
Well, yeah. I go back to the All-Star. I think this could be solved because I think the U.S. players against the world players, I think the guys would try. I think they'd be a game just for their pride. It'd be like the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I think, they'd be representing, their countries, and of course the U.S. players be representing the U.S. I think that would solve it, but who knows? I have one last thing though. It's not really under the bus. You can translate this to Rich because he'll like this.
Yes, I will.
But it's not an under the bus. It's over the moon. It's a statistic. I'm not a real statistic guy, but this statistic is amazing. A friend texted me this and it's a tennis statistic.
Yes, I was going to use that. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. After Jannik Sinner beat Carlos Alvarez in Italy in Turin last week to win the ATP Finals. Of course, he won $5 million. The match was 7-6, 7-5. It's the 6th time this year they've played in finals. They've both won 2 majors. Yeah. Alcaraz leads all time 10-6 in their 16 matches. Yeah. In their 16 matches, they've played 3,302 points.
Yes.
Alcaraz has won 1-6-5-1. Sinner has won 1-6-5-1.
Isn't that amazing?
The exact same number of points over 16 matches. Is that unbelievable?
And you know how many titles, how many championships overall, not just majors, how many titles each one of them had? Each one of them has 24.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, another number, exactly the same. Rich, Curry was just talking about how Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz have now played 3,302 points, and they've each won half of them. 50-50. Exactly.
Same.
Amazing. It's pretty cool.
Anybody you matched up with, Rich, that you were 50-50 with through all your career, and you'd like to have one more match with so that you could win it at something, Tiddlywinks?
Maybe tiddlywinks, probably, but
No,
I
no
don't.
coaches, no family that you're even with that you probably
You
can't
know,
play now.
I can't. I can't think of any. I
None
really
of your
can't think of any.
kids.
No,
Rich would
I
like.
used to play basketball with my son, but I
Yeah.
would never let him. I would never let him win. So there's none of that. Um,
Rich would like to get back at
couldn't play him. I
me.
couldn't play him now because he beat up on me. So I knew when to stop.
Go ahead, Curry.
Rich would like to get back at me for coming from behind and whipping him in beach bocce the last time we played.
Beach
Came from
bocce, and
beach bocce.
Curry owns you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, beach bocce. Bring Curry on. Let's go, Curry.
All right. If we have descended to beach bocce, we're done. We're going to throw all of us under the bus for even going through that last 45 seconds.
Bob, I have to throw one team. I have to throw somebody under the bus. Well, actually, it's a team. The Yankees for signing Grisham to $22 million contract, and he accepted the offer today.
Well, sure he did.
Of course he did. 22 million. The guy made 5.5 million last year.
Yeah.
Yes, he hit 34 home runs, which is terrific, but he's never going to hit that again, ever. He might have hit 34 home runs in the next 3 years. And the $22 million for a guy who made 5 million last year. And then down the stretch, he was like 1 for 15. So the Yankees do the same thing over and over and over again.
It's only money. It's only money.
Exactly.
Speaking of only money, thanks to Wes Kerr for his great performance tonight and trying to get it done. We'll get the technical things straightened out for next week. We want to thank all of you for listening. We hope you got something out of it. For Curry and for Rich, I'm Bob Stevens. Thanks so much for joining us. Join us again next week when we throw some more people, maybe some turkey under the bus.
There you go. Thanks, guys.